for you Yankees that you have ever put in your mouth in your entire life. So we're going to go through the very simple steps and you will thank me forever. And you start out with an ear of fresh corn. I bought 24 ears. It's taken me about 2 hours to 24 ears. Now normally guys I would recommend Silver Queen. I would recommend a non-GMO all white corn. But you can't have everything. This is your standard issue GMO yellow corn. So if you can find white corn, especially Silver Queen, would be my #1 recommendation. It would make this even better than it is. So what you do is you take your ears of corn, and this is a messy job. This stuff goes everywhere. And this is the trick. This was taught to me by Julia May Robertson of Georgia. Julia May Robertson taught me how to do this. So you start with your ear of corn. Trick #1 in making this is you go down every single row. You need to get a sharp knife with a sharp point. You go down the middle of every single row of kernels on the ear. Nobody is going to do this, but this really brings out the juice. So you go along and you go down every single row. So I'm just jumping ahead, so pretend we have done that. And then the only pan to use for this job is the cast iron skillet or little Dutch oven or what have you. So now all of your rows have been sliced down the middle. You put your ear of corn in the middle of the pan, and what you aim to do is just cut off the tips as much. You don't dig real deep into the cob. You want to, best you can, just slice off the top half. So you got to remember that every kernel has been sliced in half. So this makes a very small. You're not looking for those big Yankee full. It's not niblets. You're trying to avoid niblets. You're looking for this consistency. So every single kernel of corn will now have will be sliced in half. So when you finish your cutting off the tips, you are going to have something that looks like this. And it would, again, with Silver Queen, it would be nice and white. And you get your cast iron skillet. Take your ear of corn and you just scrape it right against the edge. You use the edge of the pan as the scraper and you press down and pull it towards you. And really get all that juice working out of the ear of corn. Flip it over, do the other side. And this stuff is flying everywhere and my glasses are falling off my head. And so you just get that ear of corn as squeezed out of juice as you possibly can. Here we have, when you get all finished, it's going to look like this, and you stir it up. This is 24 ears of prime GMO yellow corn. And do not, repeat to all Yankees listening to this, do not add sugar. This corn is already too sweet. You need to be using Silver Queen, or my mama just used white field corn that they fed the cows. Alright, so and you move over to the stove and we're gonna make a big old pot of this. We got a party of corn eaters coming up, so just get your stove going. Now with 24 ears of corn, what's that? And try not to let the cat eat the corn. We're going for the full stick of butter. Don't use margarine, guys. Come on. Now we should probably actually be using more than a stick of butter for 2 dozen.
In the freezer.
For 2 dozen corn. But anyway, we're going to start with that. You can always add more butter. Alright, so we got 1 stick of butter. And you just melt the butter in the pan. Oh yes! And you got you can start out with the heat kind of high. Alright, get your butter all melted and hot on the bottom of your cast iron, whatever you call this thing. Alright. So you melt the butter. You can bring the camera over here so that it'll look like this in the bottom of the pan. And we are going to dump this entire thing. I have been working on this corn for well over 2 hours. It will be eaten in about 2 minutes. This will be inhaled. The cat's going to go check it out. So just stir it up with the butter. And as I say, you can start out on high heat when you start this. And the only ingredients other than that butter, salt, pepper, and half and half. You can use milk, but half and half is much better than milk. So put your salt in, and I pepper this heavily. I am a southern boy, so I'm even just going to open this one up, and I make it very peppery. And that is it. Is salt and pepper. Is salt and pepper and butter, and just stir it up there in the butter on kind of your high heat. Oh man, come here and look in our pan here. So at this point, it should be looking like this, and the juicier your corn, the less you want not to be very dependent on the half and half. You want it to be, is obviously the fresher and juicier your corn, the better. So with 24 ears of this is good juicy corn, I'm probably going to use, what is this? This is a 16 ouncer. Ooh. Let's say about half. So 8 ounces for 24 ears of. So anyway, you just want to stir it up to like a milkshake consistency. And of course, the cook always dips in, so don't watch it. So anyway, taste for salt and pepper.
Cats.
Pretty sweet. The cat's not interested. And there you go. And then you turn it down to a very low heat and let it get a soft boil going, and every so come on in here again, so it'll start bubbling, but you need to keep, it'll stick to the bottom of the pan pretty bad, and so just keep it well stirred. And we want a lid on the top of this, so put it on low heat.
Lovely.
Put a tight lid on it, and cook it, I don't know. You can cook it, I would say about 15 or 20 minutes. You want to cook it, keeping it stirred, making spice to salt and pepper. And at the end, it will look something like this. I wish I could get y'all to smell this. And there you have it. Now, of course, these silver